Welcome back to the European Masters, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to dive into our final game of the day. K1ck Neosurf taking on Movistar Riders. Both teams already qualifying from Group C into the quarterfinals. This is purely for seeding. I think this is going to be another fun game. That last game, it's going to be difficult to top. I'm putting the challenge up to the players. I want 4 Elder Dragons. I want 5 Barons. I want an hour and 10-minute game. It's going to be difficult to match up against what we just saw, but nonetheless, I again very much looking forward to 2 equally matched teams taking each other to the absolute brink.
Yeah, K1ck have come through all the way from the play-ins to get it this far, and like you say, already made the quarterfinals. So whether or not they come through as first or second is what we're playing for here. Movistar, stopping that possibility of having a 0 Spanish representatives. Don't forget, the last EU Masters 2019 summer was Vodafone Giants and Big in the finals.
Yeah,
if we didn't have a Spanish team, like, that would be kind of weird, huh?
I know, yeah. I did get it confirmed to me, by the way, that this would have been the first time that we had not had an SLO team qualify. So we were correct in saying that if Movistar Riders didn't qualify, first time ever we've ever not had an SLO team in the top 8, which would have been a huge blow for a region that has produced A, so much talent, B, so many talented teams, and C, has always been a threat in the European Masters. And the Movistar Riders are going to continue to prove that, regardless of which seed they come out of in this particular matchup. You can't help but feel that Movistar Riders will continue to be a threat as we go throughout the tournament. But look, we've had some time to talk about Movistar Riders. I do want to talk a little bit about K1ck Neosurf, a team that has gone a little bit under the radar. They did come from the play-in stages, representing the Ultra Liga from Poland, the second seed to qualify alongside Ego Rogue. And for me, a lot of the power of this team comes through the top side of the map. I think Matislaw, Shlatan and Ibo have all been pretty solid performers in the European Masters so far.
Absolutely. I honestly think everyone from K1ck has been impressive, but especially, yeah, I would agree with you, like that kind of top 3 that you're seeing from the top side of the map is really, really good. And they're also very experienced as well. Like for Ibo, used to be known as Ibiso, this is his 3rd EU Masters. He was actually one of the runners-up in the first one, 2018 spring on Illumina Gaming. We had Shlatan and Matislaw also twice. This is also their well, actually it might be a 4th Ibo, or maybe it's their 2nd one. You know what, either way, 3 and 2 are the 2 numbers I'm going to give to you guys. Basically, they've been around the block a little bit. They've definitely had their experiences here at EU Masters, so there'll be no strangers. They're really having to fight for their lives. Well, yeah, fight for their seeding lives.
Yeah. The stakes aren't quite so high in our second game with the tiebreakers, but still, nonetheless, I think there are certain matchups that you do want to find yourself in, and certain matchups that you don't want to find yourself in, and often giving yourself a first seed puts you in the driving seat to get the better matchups. Eloya will get the Graves. We've seen this guy all over this week for the European Masters. I'd love to check out his win rate. Actually, I might go and have a look at that quickly, Foxy, while we look at the rest of this draft. But it's going to be Ornn and Aphelios here for K1ck as they lock in their first rotation.
We saw this Graves in the first game of the day, and it's been banned every other game since then. Now for Eloya, this guy was the rookie of the split over in Spain. Plays a lot of carry champions. I think his 2 most played champions are like Kiana and Karthus or something. Like, he really likes to pop off on he likes to take the game into his own hands. And the fact that he can play Graves now is also a pretty strong carry threat too. As the game goes on, you can scale pretty hard. You can have a really depending on what else you've got on your team, you can have an easy time of things if you've got a lot of AP threats on your team as well. So we saw that actually in the first game where Tinks was playing Graves. He had like an AP top, AP mid, and then like Varus bot, who's kind of like a bit of a hybrid champion. So able to build some of that lethality and do a crap ton of damage. We're going to be seeing a Tristana locked in here on the bot side for JaVaaa. Interesting.
Yeah, with the Taric coming through as well. I have just checked, by the way, the win ratio for Graves in the European Masters over 12 games so far is 75%. So he's 9 wins and 3 losses. So that's something that has been piloted very well by our European Masters junglers so far. Matislaw is going to get his hands on the bird. This has been a good pick for him. He obviously doesn't get his hands on Zoe, which is kind of like a pick that is synonymous with this mid lane player. And now we're into the second phase of the draft. I guess some mid lanes being targeted away to give Matislaw a more favourable matchup.
Yeah, and you wanna have a matchup here where you can just chill out. Like, you've already got crazy scaling on on the side of K1ck Neosurf. You got the big Ornn boy who's going to be giving the items over to his team to empower them late game. Also, you know, got a big team fight presence. You got Aphelios, he's a crazy late game threat. You've got Azir, again, someone that wants to ramp up a little bit. So they're going to try and just, you know, take away the options that enable Movistar to punish them early on. I'm actually quite curious to see what K1ck decide to do for junglers, because that is something that Movistar have the advantage here. You know, Gragas has been taken off the board, and you've been picking your Graves. You should be able to get a favourable jungle matchup there, even if Shlatan just defaults to his Lee Sin, like we've seen a lot. Graves is pretty decent into Lee Sin.
And they're not even bothering targeting junglers away, I guess, because of the dominance of Graves versus most of the meta junglers that are kind of existing at this point in time. I would imagine Shlatan just goes for his Lee Sin in this situation. Like, I don't think you need much more frontline with the Ornn already being on your side, and Lee Sin gives you a way of either A, kicking away Taric so that the ultimate doesn't become so as effective. Yeah, I just think Lee Sin is the pick, right? For me, that just makes a lot of sense into this composition.
We both know he's just going to pick Lee Sin. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to build it up as something, but yeah, you know, he's very comfortable in this champion. Absolutely demolished Singularity, I believe it was, in the K1ck's first game of the group stage. He's very proficient on this champion. He really enjoys playing Sin. It's always pretty fun to watch him play it too. So, to be honest, I'm not even complaining that he's picking it. We're going to be seeing a Syndra on the other side. That's a champion that's seen a bit of priority in EU Masters. A bit surprising to see it fall this far. But either way, it's a very good blind pick. And it's, you know, you're going up against Azir. Azir is not going to pressure you in that lane phase too much at all. So, pretty good matchup there. Rounding off their comp with that very exciting, exhilarating Maokai into Ornn matchup top.
Is this the first Maokai that we've seen today? Maybe the second, actually. I'm not entirely sure, but
I think it's the first one we've seen. But it's been banned. It's been banned a few times.
Yeah, well, it is a very exhilarating matchup, as you said, but it does give some much-needed frontline over to the Movistar Riders squad, you know, running with the Graves in the jungle. The Bard getting locked in for Raxxo here, so it will be Bard, Aphelios into Tristana, Taric. Both of these compositions have now been rounded out. Foxy, I'm going to give you the floor to tell me what you think of these two comps.
Firstly, I think it's kind of weird that we see a support last picked here. I'm not sure if I've seen that in a while. It's normally, obviously, you're going for a counter pick in the solo lane. Sometimes we even see the junglers last picked as well. Trundle notably has fallen through this draft, though, you know, Shlatan loves Lee Sin, so he's just going to go for that instead. But yeah, we've seen a fair amount of Bard today. So we saw LDLC with Yellowstar played it twice. It's a really good pick for making picks, for catching people out of position, but it's not necessarily that huge kind of 5v5 team fight champion. However, if you are very good on him and you get good ultimates off, you can reset team fights, which I actually think is really good, especially into Taric, because what happens is Taric lays down his ultimate, he makes everyone invincible, and then he has a huge advantage in that fight while the ultimate's down. What do you do on Bard? You just throw down your ult and bam, you know, you reset it, you make it happen, and you know, gives you, you're able to just time out the Taric ult basically, and then you can turn on to a team fight.
Well, we are heading into the Rift now. Movistar Riders versus K1ck. Movistar Riders again running with Eloya on that Graves jungle. Talk to me about that particular matchup. I feel like out of all of the junglers that could have been picked here, this is better for Lee Sin than say like the matchups that we've seen previously, like the Sejuani and the Trundle.
Yeah, and JaVaaa as well. We saw like a permanent 4-level disadvantage for JaVaaa going up against that Graves. Yeah, I think so. Lee Sin is one of those champions that he basically has very similar spikes to the Graves. Now, Graves will be able to punish him a little bit and kind of like push him out a tiny bit as well, if it really comes to it. But honestly, Lee Sin in that 1v1 is okay. And then once you reach level 6, that's when Graves gets like a bit more oomph. But so does Lee Sin, you know. So it really kind of comes down to who's able to get more of an advantage early on. Because Graves does have that advantage when it comes to the power farming aspect of it. And Lee Sin has much more of a responsibility to gank and make stuff happen early.
I'm going to see a level 1 push here from Movistar Riders, although Puki and Raxxo are just wrapping round here, trying to be a nuisance on this blue buff. Eloya is committing to it, but Shlatan is there. They're going to go straight up to Puki style, dive over the wall, force the flash out from him. And now Shlatan might be forced back with Puki style being so low. A nice little stun onto Eloya. This might be a smite war between the two, and it is going to be Shlatan that takes it. Lee Sin's so good at securing those buffs, and that's a little bit of a waste of time here for Eloya at the start of the game.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to see that. Like, Graves is all about setting the tempo early. He wants to be the one in the driving seat. If he takes charge, if he takes the lead, then hey, we see some really scary stuff out of Graves. But the Lee Sin being able to deny that blue buff from him, like you say, it slows him down, honestly, quite a lot as well. Like you're seeing, Lee Sin already has that 2-camp advantage. He's going to start his 3rd camp before Eloya has even finished his 1st. That is huge, honestly. Like that 1 buff still, that's really set the tempo of this entire game so far.
Yeah, and often Graves likes to get off to a sort of a proactive start, being a bit more ahead, like being ahead of his enemy jungler, maybe looking for counter jungling opportunities, being ahead on the scuttlers. But now he's behind Lee Sin, and that gives a bit of proactivity and a bit of direction to Shlatan to kind of control the pace of the jungle right now.
I really hope Shlatan invades here. I was thinking about it, and I'm looking at the minimap. He's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it. God bless. Okay, so this is juicy. He knows he's got the pace on Graves. He's also got, we know he's got the level advantage. So he's going to use this to really pressure the Graves here. And he's got good lane pro as well. So we'll see what happens, because Eloya is only level 2. Shlatan's got that level advantage on him.
Yeah, he has, and now Shlatan trying to just zone away. Doesn't want to get locked in here as he takes that down. Eloya is going to be forced away by Aibo, who dives over the wall. The flash comes in, and now Aibo is in trouble. Eloya diving in as well. Shlatan there, looking for the execute onto Eloya as the stun from Xico is good. Shlatan dives over the wall, dashes to the river scuttler. And I think they're just going to sacrifice Aibo in this situation. First blood comes over to Xico, and that's a good response from Movistar Riders.
I'm not quite sure what happened in the mid lane there, because when Shlatan was on the chicken camp before he went for the invade, Matislaw was under Xico's tower, and it's like, okay, this is perfect. You got top lane pushing in, you got mid lane pushing in, but then it really just flipped, and that was like, what? Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Puki style actually escapes death through the magical journey. JaVaaa just looking for that dangerous all-in with Tristana in the early game.
Whew. I saw like crazy amount of minions there, and I was like, yeah, there's no, wait what, he's got it. Oh my goodness, you know, that's Tristana for you. Tristana with that you know, bomb you can get ticking up, does a crap ton of damage. And we already saw Puki style use his flash at level 1, and they were just doing that dance around the blue buffs, so it was a bit of a pretty juicy target there. But still, that is his heal going down as well, and might be able to get something going as this game goes on.
You can see Puki style now making his way back down towards the bot lane. Lost a couple of minions, or lost about a significant amount actually off that back, because it was in a situation where JaVaaa was already pushing to turrets. So Puki style will not be too happy with that early laning phase and the way it's resulted for him. Nonetheless, though, it's only a wave or two, maybe not going to make a huge amount of difference. Xico does find that initial hit onto Matislaw, who dives back in. Raxxo there as well. Soldiers wailing away, and rhuckz turns up just in time. Gives Xico a bit of a heal and allow him to reset.
The difference between these kind of trades right now, though, for Matislaw is that he's got the corrupting potion plus biscuits, whereas Xico has neither. He's not going to have any regen here, so any kind of poke you put down, any kind of trade that you get off, is going to eventually work out in the favor of the Azir, because he can just heal up any of the damage that he's taken, whereas as you can see, Xico's not going to be able to heal any of that up. Plus he's got the hot chocolate there as well to give him a little bit of a boost too, so all good stuff there. And I want to see now where the K1ck decide to play for this dragon here. Smashdoll's taking a little bit more damage. Just trying to push his mid
just
up.
To be careful. I mean, you've got to be careful, because as soon as Xico hits 6, just then, it is a dangerous situation. A bit lower mana, though, so maybe Matislaw feels comfortable that the mana might not be there for Xico to look at the all-in. Although I say that Xico is positioning in that mid lane to be a bit more aggressive.
It's a bit of a shame for Shlatan here that his bot lane doesn't quite have that pressure in their lane, so that he can't really make any big plays. Like we've seen quite a lot, honestly, today, where you get that early lead in the jungle, and then you just take dragon after dragon, you get control around the bot side, and then you set yourself up for that 25-minute Dragon Soul. You know, it was the story of game 1 with LDLC versus Giants. It was the story of last game with Movistar versus Xico. We're not going to see that this game, however, and a lot of it is just because of the way bot lane's positioned. You can't go for dragon if your bot lane's not in position to help you out. So instead, Shlatan goes to his lane that can help him, can make a play with his Aibo.
Yeah, and they're going to go straight up to beansu, so they're going to get the knock up here as well. The Call of the Forge God will put pressure onto him. He hasn't got that flash available, and Shlatan just looking for the execute. But as Maokai is, he's very tanky, and already Eloya has turned up. I'm not sure you want to take this 1v2 though, Eloya. I think he might just be dying. And Ibo actually gets the knock up, puts a bit of damage down onto him. It's a good little pickup though, they get the kill.
Yeah, they get the kill on Eloya, not able to get anything on the other side of the map, really kind of delays the punishment here for Movistar. But at the same time, you know, with beansu TPing back into that top lane, what I would have liked to have seen here is to have Eloya just like soak up that minion wave, because he's already off to a bit of a poor start, you know. And you want, were you chasing him into the fountain there? you want to if you want to kind of get him back in. Sorry, go on, Xico, mate.
No. I just saw Matislaw do a little dive away. That's what I like about this matchup. You can dodge some of the crucial spells setting up for the execute with the Syndra ultimate. And Matislaw did a little dive there.
This is it, right? Once. So I think you're just trying to burn through the potions as well, and then maybe you can go for that all in. But a lot of it's not quite as exciting as it looks, unfortunately, right now with between these two champions in that mid lane.
It's going to be a dragon setup here for Shlatan, who is level 6, actually has the level advantage over his opposite number in the jungle. Eloya trailing a little bit behind, and Shlatan will immediately start this dragon up. Going to pull it out. Matislaw is going to head over. Although they're just going to let it reset. Don't feel comfortable, I guess, because JaVaaa in the bot lane forcing the flash out of Puki style. Just going to go all in if they can. JaVaaa already taken pretty low, and now Shlatan coming down. JaVaa's already maybe going down in this situation. Very low. Will get the kill. Raxxo picks that one up, and now they're onto rhuckz. The kicks come through, and Shlatan will take that victory. I'm unsure how that happened exactly, Foxy, but it happened.
It did happen, and more importantly, you know, he's going to push out this bot lane here, and maybe, just maybe, no, they're not going to go for the dragon. Alright, so we're just going to reset instead. So JaVaa's been looking for all of the opportunities to punish Puki here. It's level 6 versus level 5. Puki right now has both summoners up, whereas JaVaaa only has the exhaust. And because he's not quite synchronized with the Taric there, they're not able to get their combo off, that kind of jump into insta-stun. And obviously Shlatan is here as well. Doesn't quite work out for them. We've got some more plays happening bot side. Puki.
Yeah. Puki a little bit over aggro. And Eloya at the end gets a magical surprise at the end of the magical journey. It's Eloya with an auto attack. And he takes down Puki. Raxxo will flash, forces the flash out of rhuckz too. That was a little cheeky little play there. They trade back in the bot lane.
And Eloya, you know, he had a tough start, but getting a kill means quite a lot, honestly. It does get you back into, you know, catching up towards this Lee Sin, who now has a level advantage. It's not really the level that's the big problem right here, though. It's the items. Like you've got a war enchant completed from Shlatan and only double longsword from Eloya. That is 60 AD versus 20 AD. That is quite a big difference, even though it's, you know, only like 700, 800 gold or something like that to go from double longsword into war enchant. As far as the stats go, Shlatan is huge right now. Now Eloya definitely wants to catch up by getting that war enchant ASAP.
Movistar was just trying to look, used one of his turrets to see that Syndra, Xico, was waiting in the wings, setting up for a bot lane dive. Tristana, a little bit like Ziggs in the way that she can just put so much pressure onto turrets early on, and she's already taken 3 plates here against Raxxo and Puki in the bot lane. It's not kind of led to a huge gold advantage, but he has got a 20 CS advantage over his opposite number, which is a pretty big deal, actually. JaVaaa having a good game so far.
Yeah, and what's cool about this as well for Tristana is that you can see by her itemization, well, you can see right now, 500 gold lead is especially nice because she's going for this Infinity Edge build. Infinity Edge first item is a build that really ramps up as the game goes on, as you start getting some more crit behind it, like that kind of 2-3 item build. Whereas some Tristanas opt into the Blade of the Ruined King build, which is more of that one item, like insta power spike. So the fact that, you know, you're not going for the early game all in build, you are playing for a bit later on, and you've already got the advantage, that's pretty nice stuff.
Raxxo takes a bit of damage there, has to use the magical journey to get out of a trade in the bot lane. Shlatan now heading down. Might even just pop the Rift Herald with the wave that's worked its way over, and then Matislaw is going to be threatening a dive. I guess they know that Eloya is on the top side of the map right here, and they will immediately... Is TP. Okay, there is a TP coming through.
No, there's not. He has TP. Sorry, his TP is up. Sorry. If he wants to count, if they slap down the Herald, Xico will slap down his TP, and they'll take the 3v3.
I got baited. I thought Foxy was like, Xico's got TP. I was like, oh, he's coming in.
No, my bad.
Oh, that's the ultimate. Raxxo does get it buffered though by the Tristana jump, but that is enough time to drop this Rift Herald. Maybe enough time to secure the first turret of the game. Xico wants no part in this. He knows that he's unable to save this, and they will pick up that first turret in the bot lane. A nice little win there for K1ck, given how that bot lane was going for them.
Yes, absolutely. And there is a TP coming through here, but it's not Xico's TP. It's Matislaw TPing back into that mid lane after stretching his legs and wandering down to bottom side to secure that first blood tower. Now going to be in that mid, picking up the CS. He's a little bit behind right now, you know, kind of struggling a teeny little bit, but it is Azir. Azir doesn't care a huge amount about being behind in the early game. Sure, you pick him as that kind of reliable, safe mid laner that can play into pretty much any matchup, but at the end of the day, Azir really comes in line later on, so he's not going to worry too much about being a little bit behind right now.
Yeah, it needs at least 1 or 2 items before he really starts to output a huge amount of damage, and then really just scales up nicely from there too. Yep. Yeah, again, like I said, 20 CS is not going to mean a huge amount to Matislaw right now. He should be able to claim that back at some point, but it is kind of a trend that is reflected across the bottom side of the map. There is CS discrepancies between JaVaaa and Xico and Matislaw and Movistar respectively. It's only in that top side where Aibo has kind of claimed some of that back in that matchup against beansu that you're seeing the gold being leveled out that way, but it is a minor advantage to K1ck right now, only a very minor one. And I remember they traded Rift Herald for the first dragon. That's often seen as like a classic 1-2 trade. But they did get that first turret. It's like the optimum use of Rift Herald is to burn through those tougher plates with the flat amount of damage that it deals to those turrets, and they managed to get that, so that's a really good result from that first Rift Herald.
Something that's caught my eye right now as we move out of the lane phase here with these towers going down is the Graves' item build. Now, I was talking about how he wanted to get that War Enchant ASAP. He said, screw that noise, I'm not completing War Enchant, I'm going for the Umbral Glaive. Now, that really surprises me. I think the lethality builds are pretty good on Graves right now, and I think especially in this game, like, you're probably not going to be going up against a huge amount of armor. Like, obviously Ornn is going to be very tanky, but, you know, with pretty much everyone else isn't going to be itemizing too much into that, maybe a little bit here and there, but nothing really to write home about. So getting that lethality, you can do a crap ton of damage, but really an Umbral Glaive first. Oh, Matislaw though, he's caught Xico.
He's caught Xico. Shurima waits for no man, and Xico gets burnt to the ground.
A bit of BM there coming through as well. Okay,
yeah.
Matislaw, I see you. Well, I suppose, you know, I wonder if being confident about getting that first seed, you know, because this is it, right? If you get that first seed, you get an easier quarterfinal matchup. That is a good stun by Raxxo.
Yeah, it was. They bought a lot of time on the turret. That might even allow them to go for it. Ooh, it's forced the flash out. Another good stun by Raxxo onto Eloya and rhuckz. And they got so much damage onto that mid lane tier 1. It's surely just a single wave push away. But more importantly than that, they've set up good HP advantages for this dragon fight, the second one of the game.
Absolutely. And that is, you know, you don't have to kill people to take them off, take them out of contention, you know. Never mind, he's just going to nick it.
A little dive across the wall, cheeky as you like, and suddenly Movistar Riders are starting to pop back into this fight. There's the Taric ultimate to buy some time on the back line. K1ck are trying to find solace under their turret. beansu is hunting for someone. That someone is Raxxo. I think he will pay the price here. Puki style also very likely to go down in this engage, and that is a cheeky little steal with a 2-for-0 team fight.
Yeah, you're a long way from Texas there, Puki style, mate. You gotta be... Yeah, he's going down. Who are they gonna get the kill to? Shock horror, it's the AD carry. Alright, first kill of the game for JaVaaa there as well. He should be able to buy his Infinite Edge when he recalls, and that was just delightfully nonchalant by Eloya. Look at that.
Look at that.
He just insta out as well with his ultimate too, and actually turns out to be a good team fight for the Movistar Riders as well. It wasn't just that W from the Dragon. They're also going to pick up a few kills here as well. Good stuff there from Movistar. Obviously, we talked about the importance of Dragons, and K1ck did have possession of the first one in this game. So now Movistar are able to buy it back with their own.
I actually think it's the other way around. I think this is the second for Movistar.
Wait, is this... Actually, I think you might be right. I think I might be talking absolute... Yeah, I am. I am talking completely out of my mouth. But it's wrong worse. So, yeah, that's 2 dragons. My apologies. That's 2 dragons. So, yeah, again, set yourself up for that soul. Nicely done.
Xico taking a bit of damage here from Aibo. It is the Rift Herald being focused down. K1ck still feel confident going for these engagements. I mean, they do still have a significant gold lead. You know, despite that fight going awry, that they're still working with. No, that's not significant. What am I talking about? It's 500 gold, mate.
It is a gold lead, though, to be fair.
I'm now talking at my mouth with the wrong words. Oh, mate.
We're going to see another fight, though. Movistar won this last fight. Let's see if they can return the favour.
I don't think Movistar want this fight.
I don't think
just
they
want to back out. No, they just want to take the Rift Arrow and get out and dodge. Shlatan tries to find the K1ck, or rather the Sonic Wave, but he's just zoning to get that mid lane turret secured. They'll take the tier 1 in response to that Rift Arrow.
Movistar absolutely no returning of any players there at all. K1ck just going to bully them away, but they did pick up the old Rift Arrow, so that is something that they can use to specifically what I think that Movistar is going to be looking for here is breaking down this mid tower. So whenever you're playing versus an Azir, it's so hard to siege mid because he's so good at wave clearing. And it means if you're good at wave clearing, then you're good at keeping minions away from under your tower. And if there are minions under your tower, then the enemy champions can't set up a siege. But with that Rift Herald, it's enough to break it down, and I think that's what Movistar Riders will be looking to do. So walking over a ward there, mate. Your Umbral Glaive is giving you your spidey senses, taking those Krugs instead.
Ye old Umbral Glaive.
Yeah, so I didn't get to finish my point about it, but basically I was just surprised he went for it first. But it does give him good, vision control, so there is that.
I've been really impressed with Raxxo this game. I know his scoreline might not, I guess, completely illustrate the kind of impact that some of his stuns have been having. But that mid lane tier 1 fight where he just constantly got the double stuns and allowed them to set up all that damage on the mid lane tier 1 to get them to take it really easily afterwards. That was nice from Raxxo. I've been impressed with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Bard is one of the harder supports to execute in professional play. A lot of support champions aren't the most complicated or mechanically intense, but for me, I think Bard is one of them. He's got quite a unique play style and just got a lot of skill shots that he really has to think about what he's doing. And the difference between a good Bard and a bad Bard is pretty astronomical, at least compared to some other supports that you might be seeing. And here it goes. Here comes that Rift Herald, using it to break down that tier 1.
Would you look at that? It looks like K1ck want to try and stop it. Beautiful from Vaxxo to stop the Rift Arrow from getting that charge. It will go off. I don't know if it will take their turret down. Yes, it will in its entirety. So it only delayed that engage from the Rift Herald, not actually saving the turret at all. And K1ck tried, but they could not stop that mid lane going down.
I've never seen that before, actually. So it's a really good counter to Shelly to ult with Bard onto the tower, because when it's in stasis, the tower doesn't take any damage, and so Shelly's charge doesn't do any damage, and then she's just left bopping the tower with her weird little claw things, and they don't really do a lot of damage themselves. But I think what happened there was because the stasis went down before Shelly started the charge. Yeah, she then just ended up charging later on anyway. But beansu, mate, are you? Yeah, you're a bit far away from home as well, mate.
Are you alright, beansu? Is everything going okay? Is your day good? Just me and Lee Sin coming to ask you about it. No, look, don't get scared. We just want to ask you about your day, mate. We just want to ask you about your day. And oh no, we killed you. I'm sorry.
Oh no. As most of these stories end, oh no, we have killed you. But that does open up the bot side of the map here for the dragon take, which will be the third dragon of this game for Movistar, not the second one, as you incorrectly said earlier. That definitely wasn't me. Poising themselves for that Cloud Soul, which is actually fairly good, honestly, for the side of Movistar. So Cloud Soul's never really an amazing option, but to be honest, on champions like Syndra and stuff like that, you can definitely have its uses. But Movistar smell this one. This is a cheeky play.
It's the cheeky little play from K1ck. They're trying to go for that early Baron, utilising the Azir. And that's a Moonlight Vigil that goes awry, and now beansu, he wants revenge. Look, guys, I know you asked me about my day, but now I'm going to ask you about your week as he gets the first kill. Or at least sets it up, and they're going to go straight for the Baron, or they're turning around. They'll just take the kill. They'll stop it there in its tracks. And beansu, he sought revenge, and he found it.
He did find his revenge. He got a flash twisted advance there to really lock down Puki before he was able to take the Bard Porter to safety. Picking up that one kill there, it's okay. I think it was a pretty adventurous play there by K1ck to look for that dragon. You don't really do it particularly fast right now either. Your Azir has his Nashes too. That's pretty nice for his DPS. But I don't think he's really at that point where he's going to start melting through the Baron. Likewise for for the Aphelios. So just a cheeky attempt there. Doesn't actually end up in anything, unfortunately, for K1ck. But from Movistar, they're just happy to play this one nice and chilled out, keep things going at their own pace.
Movistar having to work for their games. I mean, this is exactly playing out similarly to Schalke, where they are almost level at 20 minutes. Again, the day-asking crew, they are here once more. Xico this time will be the topic of conversation, and again, it will result very similarly in death.
Maybe we should call them the Inquisitors, because they are very inquisitive about what's going on with these guys' days. Then again, no one would expect that, so maybe we shouldn't go for that. I'm thinking here, it's a little bit scary though for Movistar. Like, I like the scaling from K1ck. Like, I think the way they play these team fights as well is pretty simple. You know, you got your reliable engage, you got your tanky front line, you've got your peel for your Aphelios and for your Azir. It's like a pretty standard front to back with a little bit of spice added in there. And you know, for Movistar, I just think it gets a little bit tough because I think a lot of it comes down to whether Maokai can catch someone and whether Taric's ultimate can really eat up a lot of damage and enable, you know, Movistar to kind of take over the team fight with that invulnerability there. So I think, you know, K1ck being in the position that they are pretty happy with this one. I'm just going to be clearing out and building, getting towards their late game builds.
So, let's take stock. 20 minutes is usually a good time to take stock, Foxy. I've made up that arbitrary number in my head, so we're just going to go with it. Let's have a look at item spikes. 2 items here for the Azir. We've got 2 items for the Syndra. Are we seeing any major item spikes for either side? I mean, Aphelios is now on 2 as well. Who do you feel is stronger just based on the items that we're seeing?
I think 2 for Azir is a big one. Once you get that Leandries and Nash's Tooth, that's, yeah, you start pumping up some big deeps with that. Everything else apart from this, after this, for Azir specifically, it's just about doing a little bit more damage or maybe some utility like the Zonyus or something like that, or the Banshees. But Azir's basically online at this point. I'm looking towards the 2 bot lanes because they've both gone for these crit builds, and I think there's a bit of a difference with the Stormrazor build compared to what Puki Style's done. So Puki Style with his Infinity Edge into Hurricane kind of wants that 3rd item to really be like proper dominant as that crit 80 carry. But with the Stormrazor, I think that hasn't proper dominant. With the Stormrazor, that's a little bit of a different story, I think, in my opinion.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I love that.
That's okay. I'm done.
It's so Foxy. It's so Foxy. Just proper dominant.
I couldn't think of it. Yeah, my brain's gone at this point. That was the adjective that came into my mind.
No, I like it. I really like it. It's just so classic you. Oh god. I'm just gonna come out. I'm just gonna come out in the middle of the game and say, "He's proper dominant now, mate. Let's get him."
Proper dominant. Proper dominant.
I don't quite have the accent for it, unfortunately.
That's right. You just put it on. I've got 30 seconds now to Cloud Dragon. What do you reckon, Iskandra? What's going to happen here? Because this is sole point for K1ck.
K1ck comes out as beansu though, not exactly the target, but really just Shlatan using him as a vehicle for exit from that team fight, and it will be Ibo biting back. I need to stop saying that word, Foxy. Can someone find someone find a synonym for bite for me? Like, just, you know, chomp. He chomped back. There we go, got it.
Oh, that's
the Bard ultimate. That's a good ult, though. It actually sets things up quite nicely here for Ibo in the front line, who gets the knock-up. They get the first kill, and as you said, the 2-item Azir starting to do some serious work in these team fights, and it has set up the dragon here. The dragon... Oh, no, the denial of the dragon soul for K1ck.
Yes, Movistar deciding to maybe go for this Baron instead. They actually blast through this big time, but they are going to have to back away, because K1ck know exactly what's happening here. They're not going to let it happen either. I was a little bit surprised, honestly, that K1ck were able to win that fight, because, you know, you blow the Lee Sin ulti, you blow the Ornn ulti, and just kind of protecting yourself from that engage, and then you still find the pick afterwards. It's quite impressive, actually. I think maybe they caught Movistar, you know, unsuspecting there. But either way, that again, is, like you say, the denial of the Dragon Soul.
I mean, you said Raxxo and Bards in general, they can win or lose your team fights depending on the execution of, especially their ultimates. That was a good setup from Raxxo, and it allowed them to eliminate really the one beefy frontline member of Movistar Riders that once he's down, you can kind of have free range of positioning in those team fights. And with beansu gone, Movistar Riders didn't feel comfortable to engage in anything of the sort.
So beansu is Movistar's, like, go-in guy. You know, he's the one he's the tip of the spear for Movistar, and without him, you can't really push forward, especially if you're face checking into Fog of War. If K1ck have controlled the vision, which, you know, around the Dragon area, that's what they've done. So when your tanky member goes down, it really does kind of limit what you can do and how safe you are, because when everyone else is so squishy, it's really easy for you to get caught out of position if you make a bad face check.
They're going to be setting up that Baron vision now. You can see Matislaw does have teleport available, so being on the top side of the map is not exactly the worst thing in the world. He can teleport into the fight if needed. And Movistar Riders are just pushing down the mid lane. Still, gold, like, minuscule difference between the two teams right now. 600 really just separating both of them coming up on the 30-minute mark. It has remained very even across the board, a little bit like that Schalke game as well, where it really feels like it's going to come down to some execution-based fights here, and you can see already things starting to wind up here. Hasn't really opened up just yet, but the Call of the Forge God is coming through. Tries to land it onto Xico and hits it, followed up with a stun, but immediately there is a stopwatch keeping Xico alive, and Ibo now has to turn around. Great ultimate from beansu too, but then once more, Raxxo just eliminating some of the backline away from Movistar Riders, and that is going to be beansu diving in. Shurima turret comes down. Look at how close it is. The Taric ultimate finally used. And everything blown, no one going down, and that was so tense.
Both these teams are going neck and neck here, and they actually answer each other really well. I was a little bit skeptical of how long Taric was holding his ultimate down for, but to be honest, you cannot waste that Taric ult. Like, I feel like a lot of this team fight will revolve around how Taric puts that down, and if you waste it, that's bad. You know, there's a lot of engages for K1ck to just suddenly decide to turn and just completely, you know, like, oh, this is a good fight for us, let's go for it. You know, you got the Bard ultimate, you got the Ornn ultimate, you got the Lee Sin ultimate, even Matislaw can do something like that, you know, so you really have to make sure that you're not using that one too early. He does hold on to it, and surprisingly no one goes down in that team fight. And again, just a little bit, you know, just both these teams just kind of sussing each other out a teeny weeny bit, not trying to dedicate too much right now.
Yeah, just chilling at 30 minutes into the game. With only 500 gold separating them, that teamfight led to absolutely 0 kills. And now K1ck is starting up that Baron vision control. And again, they have scaling on their side. Puki on the Aphelios, Matislaw on that Azir. They have got a very, very strong mid to late game teamfight. But again, Tristana scales just as well. You know, Tristana is just as good.
Yeah, and I think Tristana, you know, she's gonna wait for that third item, so you get a cheeky little pause here in the game.
Yeah, I think we have a brief pause, so once we know what happens with that pause, we will bring it back to you and let you know. So let's take stock. This is a good time to, you know, just take a breather, Foxy, and kind of pick apart some of the moments in this game that may have an impact. I think, for me, some of the most influential parts of this game are, we're on Dragon Soul point for Movistar Riders. It's maybe not the most impactful Dragon Soul in the game, but it is a soul nonetheless. And then we're looking at the fact that we're even in gold with an Aphelios for K1ck. You know, we're even in gold at this stage. Now, we said that about Schalke, and they didn't manage to execute, but then you have the backup of the Azir, who is the constant DPS in these teamfight situations, who's maybe a bit more reliable, I guess, than Syndra was for Schalke when it came to that particular game. So, what are you thinking? What apples and oranges? Where are we going?
No, I'm actually kind of deviating a lot from. Well, am I going to deviate? I'm not sure. My eyes are more on the Tristana here for this game. So my reasoning for that is because, like, truthfully, so Tristana hasn't been meta for a particularly long time. Like, you don't really see a lot of priority put onto the Tristana in general in drafts. But I think she's a really
Oh, looks like we're back into game on my feed here. I can't work out if Foxdrop has dropped or not. I can't hear him on Discord, so if he's talking, you guys are going to have to let me know. But for the meantime, it looks like we're back in game just for the moment, so we'll be able to dive back in. I'm going to have to potentially cast this by myself until I know if Foxdrop is here or not. Looks like the ultimate's coming out. They're going to get the lock on to Eloya, who jumps over the wall, but he's immediately flashed on. Nothing to escape at this point in time, but he does get a bit of a speed boost and will escape. beansu there as well, locked up and can't respond. And again, another even team fight for these two squads. Matislaw is now going to wrap back round into the red side jungle. But look at this, there is an inhibitor turret open if they wanted to push, but I just don't feel like Movistar riders are confident enough to do so. Or they are trying to stop the backs coming through. They've seen some of those backs have come through, and now Movistar riders are going to turn back around and set up for this dragon fight. I just need to remind you guys what this game means for both of these teams. Remember, if the winner... if you win this, you get the first seed exit from Group C. Both of these teams have already qualified coming out of the Group C stage. Obviously, Schalke Revolution, unfortunately, losing out earlier on. And now the winner of this will take the first seed exit from this group. Looks like they're going to go for the Baron now. That is going to be Matislaw over the wall, just utilizing that consistent DPS. Now he has the damage to do so. beansu reacts with the ultimate. He's looking for an engage, but it might just be too late as they smite it away. The Baron has been taken by K1ck, and Movistar riders maybe just not in a position to respond to this, as Eloya with no flash must be careful. The phase rush will keep him away, and they do get Cloud Soul in trade for that. Whether you think that's worth or not, I just don't know. beansu's trying to lock things up here, trying to stop the engage coming through as he gets taken very low already. Maybe the positioning was not quite right, beansu, and K1ck pick up another kill and are now going to convert that into a potential push in the top side of the map.
Boo.
Still waiting. Oh, wait, we're back. The boy is back. I thought I was going to have to do some colour casting. I don't think the stream is ready for Scoundrel's analysis, so I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, apparently a lot happened while I was gone. There's Baron and there's Soul and K1ck. Here they go.
Here they go, and again, Ibo finds another good ultimate. This is suddenly a nice engage, although Eloya jumps in. So does JaVaaa! Oh my god, the cojones on this man! He finds yet another huge turnaround, a quadra kill for Movistar riders, just when you felt like it was going K1ck's way. The Tristana jump saves the day.
Holy moly. Do we need me to disconnect more frequently? Because as soon as I go, everything just starts blowing up here in this game. Cloud Soul has gone down. Baron we saw as well in this like 2-minute fight, 2-minute window here, sorry. So much has happened. This team fight as well. We have really able to pop off. It's what I love about this as well is like I was so curious to see how this Tristana would kind of play in these team fights, because yes, she is such a strong kind of range threat, especially as she gets some items, and she's gone for that rapid fire cannon get some levels and rapid fire cannon third item. But the great thing about Tristana Taric is like you can actually jump in, and with the Taric ulti, you don't really get punished as much for it, and you can see just how crazy JaVaa's been able to play in these team fights.
Oh, Shlatan, he finds the geometry, but maybe not the execution. And now Xico will be able to escape. Shlatan's going to dive away. They're going to have to bounce this one back, as though Puki style is on that front line, looking for an engage to happen once more. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Raxxo. Come on, sacrifice rhuckz. Just sacrifice him. Yeah, that's a good team. They'll take the inhibitor and run in this situation.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to know when to cut your losses. rhuckz is going to go down right there. And I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that Movistar have reset since they won that previous team fight in their own base. So they might have a bit more gold to spend if they do want to, when they do walk on back there. As you can see, yeah, look at that, 3k gold in the pocket of JaVaaa especially. Yeah, oh gosh, he's gonna go back and definitely buy himself something nice. I think he's gonna complete his last wisp, maybe, or
treat yourself.
There it is.
Treat yourself.
There
nope, undone.
Nope,
he's
undone. And yeah,
Guardian
okay.
Angel. There we go.
Okay. I can respect that, honestly. So if he wasn't playing ballsy enough, now he's got a literal Guardian Angel to protect him, to revive him if he over positions a little bit. I kind of respect that. Like he avoided the full damage option and instead went for the more kind of safe option. And it takes guts to do that as an AD carry.
beansu, I think you've been asked about your day enough, mate. But Matislaw and Shlatan are here again. He's tried his best. We'll flash across the Shurima wall, and actually, that's ambitious, Ivo. That's real ambitious, mate.
Yeah, that's the Cloud Dragon right there. Like you're seeing that. Like when he put down his roots, he's like so speedy. Yeah, he does have to use his flash as well, of course. But
wait, are they trying to?
Yeah, they're stopping the recalls.
Is he going to stop the recalls here? Go on, beansu, mate. 1v5. Get him, lad. Get him, lads. Let's go. Oh, he hits one. The Aphelios, the most important, giving up his life here. Yeah. But it is just going to be the Nexus. There we go. A little chase after his day. Well, I can tell you what, his day's bloody good, mate, because it's going to be Movistar Riders taking the first seed here. And again, both of our teams that came from the bottom of the tiebreaker bracket end up making it out of the group first. And a big win again for the SLO team, Movistar Riders. Congratulations to them. They will exit the Group C as first seed with a cheeky little end there, Foxy.
Yeah, I like the way they played that game as well. And for me, I think Movistar really showed, or today honestly, really showed the strength of the bot lanes that we've got in EU Masters in general. I think kind of right now the meta is kind of favouring bot lanes a little bit. Like there are a lot of kind of powerful picks that you can do in the draft and like 2v2 combinations and things you can build around. And even when that's not on the cards, you can still whip out something like the Tristana and have just had an amazing game on that. And I can't wait to see what he does in the quarterfinals.
Well, speaking of JaVaaa, we have a replay of that rather ambitious play on the bot side defense. So let's take a look at that once more, and you can kind of walk me through it because it was a big play.
Yeah, this one is really the big kind of turn. The whole fact that K1ck are in their base kind of tells you how this game had been going up until this point. It's just a little bit over ambitious there for K1ck. Like they think that they have, they think they have the window to make that happen. One of the really annoying things about Tristana is that she's got the resets, so not only can she do a lot of damage, and obviously it's just great as an AD carry in general for that, but once she hops in, if she gets a kill, she just keeps going and she keeps the pressure up. So once things start falling apart for you against Tristana, they fall apart really fast, as you saw there.
I really felt like K1ck were antsy for the end there. They just thought this is the game-ending play. Like with it, they thought, okay, done, nice, let's get it, let's win the game. But I think they weren't anticipating the amount of damage that the tower was doing. They didn't focus it down, and they couldn't actually find those executes and win. But massive props to JaVaaa and Movistar Riders, because they again came through the gauntlet to take that first seed away in the tiebreakers. Again, commiserations to K1ck, but they still qualify as second seed. They will join their fellow Ultra League team as a second seed, leaving from groups B and C. And now we are going to be building up to the draw. So before we end the show, which will be relatively soon, as there are no games left, we will be having the draw for the quarterfinals that we will be able to show you once that is completed. It is currently being done right now, and as soon as we have that draw, we'll bring it to you. Foxy, let's have a think about this. What your dream matchup in these quarterfinals? I'm not even sure if the draw is already set, but what would your dream matchup be for some of these quarterfinals? What would you love to see?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, I'm kind of biased, so I really want to see what BTXL can do in the quarterfinals. I don't know who I'd want to put them up against, though. So part of me wants to see them go up against someone that's looked really good, like Mouse, for example, or even kind of like Gamers Origin, because I think that they're probably some of the best teams that we've got left in EU Masters. But
I don't think it can be Gamers Origin, right?
Whatever. But in theory, if they could go up against the likes of these good teams, but it's just because they started off so awful, 0-3. They had to win every single game, and then the tiebreaker to even get out of groups, and it's like I still don't have a read on this team. Is it like a seesaw, and then they're going to be really awful in the quarterfinals, or is this actually you've now unlocked BTXL and they're really going to come at you? I'm excited to see what they can do.
I feel like they're a momentum-based team. I feel like, if XL are losing, they tend to continue losing, and if XL are winning, they tend to continue winning. It's just a very momentum-focused thing. Because remember in the finals of the UKLC where they were winning and then they just lost one and suddenly lost all of them? It kind of just feels like maybe one tip in the seesaw, as you said, can sometimes send it either way. But yeah, I'm excited to see Gamers Origin. I kind of, people pegged them as the best team coming out, but I think the team that I'm most excited about is Mouse. Again, it's such a cool storyline to have Leader and Obsessed return to the European Masters on the same team once more, looking for a reclaimed title. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they might be the only players, if they were to win, they would be the only players to actually claim the European Masters twice. I don't think any other player has got 2 European Masters titles to their name. I would have to double check, but I do believe that would be the case. Yeah. We are finalising, I'm being told we are finalising matchups now, so as soon as we have them ready, we'll show you them on stream. Yeah, but Mouse would be my team that I'm kind of like really looking forward to. Really, obviously I'm biased for UKLC, love the UKLC boys, I'm really happy that Fnatic and XL got through, but Mouse have been exciting for me, and I really want to see how they perform when we get to the knockout stages.
After their first game of week 1, my dad said Mouse are going to win it all, so... If he knows anything, which he doesn't, then they're gonna take it all. So there's that.
I love how you set that up, just in case your dad might be a hidden League of Legends coach, mate. I've met your dad. He's a pretty switched on bloke, you know. So you know, he might just be hustling you a little bit, mate.
True. Maybe he actually is a lot smarter than he leads on. Then again, he did produce. He's a bit of a coin flip when it comes to his offspring, you know. Like my brother, don't know about that one. But he got it right in the end, you know, when he landed with me and stuff. But that's all good.
Oh, you just had to take the opportunity to flame your boy Fi in front of like 15,000 people. All right, boys, we've got the draw. Here we go. Mousesports versus Ago Rogue. LDLC versus BTXL. Movistar Riders versus Fnatic Rising. And Gamers Origin versus K1ck Neosurf. They are some good-looking quarterfinals. I mean, every single team here is exciting and could win on their day. I really couldn't call any favourites coming into this. I think every single team looks fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a best of 3 in the quarters and the semis as well, as you can see on your screen. Moving to best of 5 in the finals. Just as a quick look-see here, I mean, I talked about BTXL coming up to this, and another team I was going to mention would be LDLC, because I think today especially, holy moly, they just look like a completely different team. They look so good today, and I'm really excited to see what they can keep doing. And hey, they're going up against the British boys in BTXL, so that's definitely one I've got my eyes on too. I think there's all these matchups are really solid actually.
So just a thing to note, everybody, if you look at the bracket and the way it's seeded, we have Polish teams on either side, French teams on either side, English teams, or UKLC, I guess, teams on either side, and then we have an SLO and a Prime League team on either side also. So if the teams from particular regions to do well, they wouldn't meet until the final. So that's essentially the way that it's looking right now. That's definitely set up to be really a really cool set of quarterfinals, which will be happening next week. I believe beginning May the 5th, Tuesday, May the 5th at 6 p.m. CET. So we're going to be starting the quarterfinals then. So not starting on the Wednesday like we do usually. We'll be starting on the Tuesday at 6 p.m. CET. Wow, it's been a day. These games have completely drained my ability to even think in a straight. I was about to say think in a straight line. That's how my brain has kind of whittled down. Foxy, I've really enjoyed casting with you today, mate. It's been fantastic. I've had a lot of fun. Congratulations, obviously, to Movistar Riders and LDLC for making it out of the groups as first seeds, and to both our Polish teams, K1ck and Rogue, who make it out as second. Those quarterfinal brackets have been seeded, and we will see you on Tuesday, the 5th of May, 6 p.m. CET. We'll see you then.